tell us what we don't know about Dean Martin.
Let's see. What you maybe didn't know about him is that, that drinking bit was just a gimmick.
Not everything about the King of Cool was as it seemed.
No, don't worry. Just like I promised you, I'm only having one drink.
While Dean Martin was celebrated for many things during his life, his children's efforts to correct misunderstandings have unveiled new details that might make you reconsider who Dean Martin truly was. What shocking truths have come to light? Who was Dean Martin behind the spotlight? Join us as we leave you speechless with new revelations about this renowned entertainer. More than just an entertainer, Dean Martin, often called the King of Cool, was much more than his suave playboy image suggested. To the world, he was the smooth-talking entertainer, with a drink in hand and a charming smile.
All seriousness, I feel sorry for you people that don't drink. I mean it, because when you wake up in the morning, that's as good as you're going to feel all day.
But behind that public persona was a devoted father to 8 children. A man who secretly sipped apple cider instead of alcohol, and someone who carried his share of personal struggles. The new documentary, Dean Martin, King of Cool, looks closer at the real man behind the legend. It features rare footage and explores his close friendship with Frank Sinatra, the strained relationship with his longtime comedy partner, Jerry Lewis, and the heartache of losing his son, Dean Paul Martin. The documentary really highlights the ups and downs of Dean Martin's life and career, showing us a more human side of the beloved star. Born Dino Paul Crocetti in 1917 in Steubenville, Ohio, Martin was the son of Italian immigrants. Growing up in a working-class family, he didn't speak English until he was 6 years old and struggled in school, often being labeled nearly illiterate. Despite these early challenges, his talent was undeniable. His mother, Angela, believed in him wholeheartedly, saying that no one could if her son didn't make it as a singer. Before he became a household name, Martin lived a modest life. He worked as a blackjack dealer and even tried boxing. Everything changed when he met Jerry Lewis in 1945. Lewis, a rising comedian, saw Martin perform at a New York nightclub and suggested they team up. The duo officially started performing together in 1946, and their act quickly became a sensation. Known as the Playboy and the Puts, Martin and Lewis brought their contrasting styles to stages and screens. Martin was the suave, collected one, while Lewis was the energetic and goofy counterpart. Audience absolutely loved them, and they starred in 16 hit movies together, making their mark in showbiz history. But not everything was perfect behind the scenes. Over time, Dean Martin got tired of always playing second fiddle to Jerry Lewis's over-the-top humor. He wanted to be seen as a serious entertainer, not just part of a comedy duo. In 1956, their professional relationship ended, and it wasn't a friendly split. Martin even told Lewis, "When I look at you, I see nothing but a dollar sign." After their breakup, Martin's family avoided mentioning Lewis because the wounds were deep. Despite their differences, Martin's daughter, Diana, remembers their partnership fondly. She believed that they had magic. Beyond his career, Dean Martin was a devoted family man who cherished time with his children. His life had its ups and downs, but his charm, talent, and resilience left a lasting impression. While Dean Martin's captivating story is deeply connected to his remarkable career, there was much more to him than his professional achievements. One of his children offers a heartfelt glimpse into this often overlooked side of his life, the King of Cool. Dean Martin's iconic career spanned countless films, including Ocean's 11, but his talents went far beyond the silver screen. Known for his extraordinary and boozy charm, Martin's daughter, Diana, revealed that his famously tipsy persona was more of an act than reality. Dean, a singer who splits her time between Beverly Hills and Branson, Missouri, also shared that drinking was his gimmick. According to Ocean's 11 co-star Henry Silva, Martin filled his glass with apple cider instead of alcohol, debunking the myth that he drank heavily while managing such a prolific career. Growing up as the fourth of 8 children in the Martin household was a whirlwind of fun and excitement. Deanna recalled a home filled with laughter, music, and famous visitors. Rat Pack members Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. were frequent guests, affectionately referred to as Uncle Frank and Uncle Sammy. Dina described it as a lively environment where figures like songwriter Sammy Cahn would stop by to write parodies or play classics like Time After Time on the piano. It was business as usual, Dina said, though she couldn't help but marvel at moments like singing Christmas carols with Rosemary Clooney on Christmas Eve. One memorable experience came when Deanna was 17 and accompanied her dad and Sinatra to Las Vegas. Together they attended a Don Rickles show, where the comedian hesitated to perform, intimidated by the legendary entertainers in the audience. Deanna described the night as unforgettable, filled with laughter and feeling well cared for. Martin and Sinatra's bond was as strong off stage as it was on. Deanna noted their deep respect for one another, with no jealousy clouding their friendship. Sinatra even designed matching diamond pinky rings with his crest for himself and Martin, and Dean reportedly wore his constantly. They also exchanged other meaningful gifts, like gold cigarette lighters. Their camaraderie extended beyond personal gestures. They shared the stage with rising political figures like John F. Kennedy, although Martin kept a careful distance from politics. Diana recalled him joking, "If JFK becomes president, I'm going to ask him if I could become the Secretary of Liquor." According to Deanna, Dean Martin also stood firm on his principles regarding civil rights. When Sammy Davis Jr. wasn't invited to JFK's inauguration due to his interracial marriage, Martin refused to attend. Despite his star power, Martin preferred the comforts of home. While Sinatra might party until dawn, Martin valued his family time, often signaling guests to leave by turning off the lights, or even calling the police at his daughter's birthday party, under the guise of being a disgruntled neighbor. Through humor, heart, and steadfast values, Dean Martin left an indelible mark not only as an entertainer, but also as a devoted friend and family man. Let's explore other aspects of Dean Martin's life. The end of the Dean Martin Show. After a remarkable 9-year run with the Dean Martin Show, Dean Martin stepped away from the spotlight, preferring the peace of golf and solitude. However, he remained a fascinating figure, often described as intrigue. In a documentary about his life, those close to him shared their perspectives on his reserved nature and enduring mystique. Norman Lear summed it up best, saying, "When you're in Dean's company, were you?" Sinatra's manager added, "Dean had a wall no one got past." Despite this perception, Martin's daughter, Diana, saw him differently. "I think he was content with who he was," she said. "He didn't talk much, and people thought that was mysterious. But he was out there entertaining people all his life." Martin cherished his loved ones as a family man and a performer. A photo from 1966 shows him with his wife Jin and their children, embodying the warmth he brought to those closest to him. However, tragedy struck in 1987 when his son, Dean Paul Martin Jr., a military pilot, died in a training flight crash in California. The loss devastated Martin, with the documentary describing it as his personal implosion. The pain of this loss rippled through his life and relationships. Martin's former comedy partner Jerry Lewis attended the funeral secretly, sitting quietly in the back without announcing his presence. Despite this gesture, their much-anticipated reconciliation never materialized. "You can't get past that," Deanna said, reflecting on the deep wounds on both sides. Even Lewis's son recalled that Martin's name was rarely spoken in their home. The documentary also suggests that Martin's 1988 Together Again tour with the Rat Pack, just a year after his son's death, came too soon. According to Deanna, Martin's heart wasn't in it. He was tired, she said. He'd been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. By then, he seemed ready to leave the demands of show business behind. Martin passed away on Christmas Day in 1995 at the age of 78, succumbing to acute respiratory failure caused by emphysema. His funeral, held at a chapel in Westwood, was a gathering of Hollywood legends from different generations. The old guard, including Shirley MacLaine and Bob Newhart, paid their respects alongside newer stars like Charlie Sheen. Jerry Lewis spoke movingly about his friend, describing Martin's exquisite tranquility despite a great inner turbulence. Reflecting on his legacy, Deanna described her father as cool. "Everybody loved Dean Martin," she said. "He was the king of cool." From legendary performances to a quiet personal life, Martin left an indelible mark as a man of charm, mystery, and enduring appeal. Deanna offers a glimpse of a man who embraced life's adventures yet never lost sight of what truly mattered. Could this admirable quality be rooted in his upbringing? A peek into Dean Martin's childhood. Dean Martin was a legendary American entertainer. Martin left an unforgettable mark in show business, known as a smooth singer, charming actor, and charismatic comedian. Before fame, Martin worked various odd jobs. He labored in steel mills, delivered bootleg liquor, boxed as a prize fighter, and even worked in a casino. His singing talent, however, brought him into the spotlight, performing at local clubs. His big break came when band leader Sammy Watkins hired him to tour as a pop singer. In 1946, while performing in Atlantic City, Martin met comedian Jerry Lewis. The two began improvising during each other's acts, sparking a legendary comedy partnership. Their act featured Martin as the suave straight man, and Lewis as the zany clown, captivating audiences with their hilarious chemistry. The duo's success took them to Hollywood, where they starred in 16 films, starting with My Friend Irma.
What's the matter with you? I asked you to squeeze a few oranges and you blow your top.
Blow my top? I got an occupational disease. A cheap boss.
And ending with Hollywood or Bust. Despite their immense popularity, Martin ended the partnership, and many doubted he could thrive solo. However, he proved critics wrong, launching a successful singing career with hits like That's Amore, Memories Are Made of This, and Everybody Loves Somebody. His acting career also flourished, beginning with The Young Lions alongside Marlon Brando. Martin worked with Frank Sinatra for the first time in Some Came Running. This partnership blossomed into the iconic Rat Pack, which included Sammy Davis Jr. How did Dean Martin become a member of the iconic Rat Pack? The Rat Pack comes together. The death of Humphrey Bogart in 1957 due to esophageal cancer marked the beginning of the end for the original Rat Pack. However, Frank Sinatra revived the idea, bringing it to life with his flair. By the late 1950s, Sinatra had regained his Hollywood prominence after a career slump in the 1940s. He won an Academy Award for From Here to Eternity in 1953.
And who, please, is the winner? The winner is Frank Sinatra.
His growing success included starring roles in major films like Some Came Running in 1958, where he worked with Dean Martin and Shirley MacLaine. Although Sinatra and Martin were casual friends before the film, their bond grew during production as they rented a house together and hosted nightly parties. In 1959, Sinatra used his influence to secure roles for friends like Peter Lawford and Sammy Davis Jr. in Never So Few. However, when Davis joked in a radio interview that he was a better singer than Sinatra, their friendship hit a rough patch. Furious, Sinatra had Davis's role cut from the film. Thankfully, they later reconciled when Davis publicly apologized. The Rat Pack solidified during the production of the iconic heist film Ocean's 11. Lawford acquired the script and partnered with Sinatra, recognizing it as the perfect project for their circle of friends. The cast included Sinatra, Martin, Davis, Lawford, Joey Bishop, Shirley MacLaine, and Angie Dickinson. Filming took place in Las Vegas, where the group embraced a unique schedule, shooting during the day and performing together at night. As Davis recalled in his autobiography, Sinatra set the tone, saying, "The idea is to hang out together, find fun with the broads, and have a great time. We gotta make pictures that people enjoy. Entertainment. Period." Filming stopped daily at 5 p.m., after which the group headed to the Sands Hotel and Casino, where Sinatra often performed and held a share. On stage at the Copa Room, the men dazzled audiences with their tuxedo-clad performances. They sang, danced, traded playful insults, smoked, and drank, creating a lively and glamorous atmosphere. These nightly shows became a hallmark of the Rat Pack's charm, drawing standing-room-only crowds. The Rat Pack earned nicknames like The Summit, reflecting their influence, and developed their lingo. Phrases like the Big Casino for death, Dullsville, Ohio for boring situations, and a little hey-hey for fun or romance added to their mystique. Their swagger and camaraderie epitomized coolness and rebellion. After Ocean's 11, the group continued collaborating on films like Sergeants 3 and Robin and the Seven Hoods. They even reunited for a concert tour in 1988, though Martin withdrew due to health issues and was replaced by Liza Minnelli. The Rat Pack's legacy remains strong. From documentaries to remakes, like George Clooney's Ocean's 11, their influence endures. Groups like the Brat Pack and Frat Pack have drawn inspiration from their iconic camaraderie, proving the Rat Pack's timeless appeal. Beyond his untarnishable legacy, let's shift focus to his family, the 8 children he left behind whose lives were forever shaped by his influence. Dean Martin's large family. Dean Martin had a large family. He had 8 children from 3 different marriages. His first marriage was to Betty McDonald, with whom he had 4 children, a son, Craig, and 3 daughters, Claudia, Gail, and Diana. The couple divorced in 1949. The same year, Dean married Jeanne Bieger, a model who later became known as Jeanne Martin. They were married for 24 years and had 3 children together, 2 sons, Dean Paul and Ricci, and a daughter named Gina. Dean's third and final marriage was to Catherine Hahn, a Beverly Hills hair salon receptionist. After their 1973 wedding, Dean adopted Catherine's daughter, Sasha. Although their marriage ended in divorce in 1976, Dean always ensured Sasha remained part of the family. Craig, Dean's eldest child, was born on June 29, 1942. As a young boy, Craig's life was relatively private, aside from the public attention surrounding his parents' divorce in 1949. After the divorce, Dean gained custody of Craig and his siblings, who Jean raised. Following in his father's footsteps, Craig pursued a career in the entertainment industry as a television producer. He worked on The Dean Martin Show and the variety show Sha Na Na during the 1970s. Craig eventually married Carol Costello, the daughter of comedian Lou Costello. Tragically, Carol passed away in 1987, just days after the death of Craig's younger brother, Dean Paul, in a plane crash. Since then, Craig has lived a private life, occasionally acknowledged by his siblings, such as when his sister Diana celebrated his 8th birthday online in 2022. Claudia, Dean's eldest daughter, was born on March 16, 1944. She was drawn to the entertainment world and appeared in several films and TV shows, including Hollywood or Bust and The Donna Reed Show. Claudia married multiple times, starting with actor Keel Martin, with whom she had a daughter named Jessie. Later, she moved to Reno, Nevada, with her 4th husband, Jim Roberts, where they ran a printing business. Claudia passed away from breast cancer in 2001 at the age of 56. Gail, the 3rd child from Dean's first marriage, was born on April 11, 1945. Growing up, Gail had a unique childhood, with Frank Sinatra as her uncle and Liza Minnelli as her best friend. Like her father, Gail pursued a singing career, even performing alongside him in Las Vegas. However, she eventually left show business to focus on her family. Gail married attorney Paul Polina at the age of 23, and they had 2 daughters, Cappy and Liza. After her divorce, she later married newspaper columnist Mike Downey. Today, Gail resides in Rancho Mirage, California. Deanna, the youngest of Dean's children with Betty McDonald, was born on August 19, 1948. Her birth coincided with her father's nightclub performances in Los Angeles. Surrounded by Hollywood stars, Deanna naturally gravitated toward performing. She often appeared on The Dean Martin Show in the 1960s, and later pursued acting and singing. Deanna recorded multiple albums, including Memories Are Made of This, which featured covers of her father's famous songs. She also authored a book titled Memories Are Made of This, Dean Martin Through His Daughter's Eyes. Married to film producer John Griffith since 1990, the couple renewed their vows on their 25th anniversary. Dean Paul, Dean's first child with Jeanette, was born on November 17, 1951. Known as a golden boy, he excelled in many fields, including tennis, acting, and music. He formed a band called Dino, Desi, and Billy, with Desi Arnaz Jr. and Billy Hinshaw, and earned a Golden Globe nomination for his acting. Later, Dean Paul pursued a career as a pilot with the Air National Guard. He was married twice, first to actress Olivia Hussey, with whom he had a son named Alexander, and later to Olympic figure skater Dorothy Hamill. In 1987, tragedy struck when Dean Paul died in a plane crash during a routine training exercise. He was just 35 years old, and his death deeply affected his father. Richie, Dean's second son with Jen, was born on September 20, 1953. Like his siblings, Richie grew up in a household filled with music. He released an album in 1977 called Beached, and later performed with Desi Arnaz Jr. and Billy Hinshaw in a band that paid homage to Dean Paul's original group. In 2002, Richie published a memoir, That's Amore, A Son Remembers, where he shared stories about growing up in Beverly Hills and his family's glamorous life. Richie married Annie Rasmussen, and they had 3 daughters, Pepper, Montana, and Rio. Richie passed away in 2016 at the age of 62. Gina, Dean's youngest child with Gene, was born on December 20, 1956. While Gina largely stayed out of the spotlight, she appeared with her family on The Dean Martin Show in 1967 and acted in a television movie years later. Gina married Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys in 1987, and they remained together until his death from lung cancer in 1998. Sasha, Dean's adopted daughter from his marriage to Catherine Hahn, briefly pursued acting, appearing on the soap opera Guiding Light and in the 1997 film Private Parts. Despite Dean and Catherine's divorce, Sasha remained close to the family, as Dean always ensured she felt included. Sasha's brother Richie fondly described the Martins as one big family, bonded through all 3 marriages and 8 children. What do you think of Dean Martin's legacy? Were there other aspects of his life that were purely for show business? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.